getting the water about. Yeah, there's hundreds of them. Isn't it a lovely spot?
Beautiful. Sure is. Good. Take a picture.
With the gardens doing so well in our first year, I decided to use the produce from it for this next meal. Marrow. And I had a nice big marrow there. I don't usually bother with just marrow seeds. I usually find that courgette seeds grow into a large enough marrow, and here we are, a nice big specimen from my garden, which we're next going to slice up into about 4 or 5 portions and then peel off the skin from the outside. And then I have to reach inside the melon pieces to pull out all the seeds. In this case it's a nice chunky melon, so there's lots of flesh and very few seeds. As the old adage says, a sharp knife is very useful. We don't want a blunt one, for this would easily slip off. So having cut these slices, we can upend them, as I say, place them on my new cutting board on an end, and then slice downwards along the outside carefully, taking off all of that nasty hard skin. I did actually discuss all of this right the way through the film, but unfortunately with this particular film we had a fault where I deleted some files and brought some of the files back thinking I'd lost them, and they then conflicted with further ones, so we've lost the sound of this particular video and I'm having to overdub it. Once we've sliced the marrow into those nice big chunks and removed the insides, the pith and the seeds, then we can line a baking tray with tin foil and place our marrow that's been trimmed onto the inside there. Obviously we want a tin that fits the marrow. We want too much marrow left over and we don't want a lot of space left inside, so here you'll find that all my marrow pieces just fit in there nicely. For this particular recipe I'm using half a kilo of mince, of beef mince, and onions chopped up with some garlic and some spices and herbs. We'll go into the mixture in a minute, and I would need enough for 4 people, and that's 2 of us that eat really well, so possibly enough for 6 people in this case. We stuff the marrow really well inside, nice and tight, and then we let the overspill fall onto the other pieces of marrow and in between, and then I should put another piece of tin foil over the top to stop it from burning. And we're going to cook this at 250 for about 3/4 of an hour. It's important that we cook the mince first of all though. This is because the marrow cooks much more quickly at a lower temperature, so our mince will need to be cooked beforehand. Then we have those lovely sweet little new potatoes you saw me digging in the last film for my garden, and we'll put some mint in with those when they boil to give them that extra bit of flavour. Finally, and after that, we go into the garden and we pick some fresh chard or leaf beet. The lovely thing about this chard is that the leaves will continue growing after we've cut them, but we can eat all of it. The stalks are just as delicious as the greens are. Wash these thoroughly and then slice them across, stuffing them into a pan. They'll boil down much less than when you start off. That small pan there will take all of that lot. And now my savoury mince. So we've got half a kilo of beef mince, we've got some garlic powder, we've got a little bit of chilli powder, we've got chicken stock cubes and a beef stock cube, 3 pieces of garlic and 3 onions, all to be chopped up and mixed in with the beef. To add that piquance and give slightly more of a French flavour, I've added some herbs de Provence as well. Don't forget to go and pick some mint to go with those new boiled potatoes. I have several varieties in my garden, so I usually put at least 2 in. In this case, the soup is one of my old standbys and one of my favourites. Very simple to make. 2 tins of Heinz tomato soup and then 1 packet of minestrone soup. Add that in, add a bit more water, stir it up, cook it beforehand, add a bit more water still if it's too thick, and then that's ready. This lovely lace tablecloth is one that I got from Mallorca many years ago. Gypsy, who came down on the beach, we bartered a little, but I gave her a fair price for it, so we were both happy in the end. It's lasted me all these years. The table setting was given to me as a full set by a friend, again about 20 years ago, and I've never actually used it, but this time, with appreciative guests, I decided to do so. So we've got the bone handles, forks and knives out and so on, the candlesticks, and some lovely old-fashioned accoutrements and cut glass from the past with our meal. With all of the pans boiling during that time, and also the timing of the marrow worked out to the T, once the soup is finished I can go and get the marrow out from the oven and then place it onto a dish separately to make it far more attractive and also easier to serve, because I shall cut the marrow pieces up more so that they can be spooned onto individual plates. Hopefully you can see now why I use the tin foil. Nothing is burnt at all. The mince is not burnt, the marrow is nice and clean and pure and soft. We've already got the potatoes and the leaf beet out into their dishes with a little butter on top that's melted in. All I have to do now is just slice it up slightly more and lift the portions out. So we'll lift those portions across first, and once they're all on there I'll just cut them up into more individually sized portions, easier for each person to serve into their plates. Using the tin foil not only protects the mince during the cooking and the whole dish, but it also makes it easier to serve up. Now I can just pick up the piece of tin foil and pour the rest of the juice and the sauce onto the dish itself, onto the marrow and onto the mince. All of those things will just go in there easily. What little does trickle into the tray can then be poured in afterwards, and of course it isn't all burnt onto the tray. The tray is easier to clean up. But don't make the mistake of getting that tray still very hot. Do use a cloth when you pick it up. Here I am just making it more easily manageable and slicing up individual pork. It seemed to be well appreciated, as all of my meals were this holiday, which is very pleasant for me to do, as everything was eaten, nothing was left at all but just a few new potatoes. For dessert I just did a few tin lychees and grapes together to give a nice refreshing sweet. And there we go. Once the meal's over and the washing up's done, I can remove the tablecloth and get back to normal. Tonight is Chef's night off, and Mike and Jenny have cooked, and Jenny and Mike have done the fish pie, which I love, although we're still experimenting with our new oven and we can't quite get it crisp, but we'll soon find out, I'm sure.
I'll wait till everybody's sat down.
I can't really eat it, so
Hot.
I'm hoping it's hot.
If it is, it's a bit of a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, sushi with potato on top otherwise.
It's just the handle.
Liquid rubber doesn't sound
It
very
doesn't
nice.
sound, but it is. It's very special actually. You'll have to see. You're welcome to try it. Thank you very much.
God, that is so cheap.
44,000.
Is that euros or English? Oh. If that's only 1,000, it's
Well, we finished Mike and Jenny's fish pie, which was lovely, and now we've come outside, just resting a bit after the dinner, and they say they might do a bit of painting. We'll see. I quite like the look of this chiaroscuro, this light behind the leaves, this wonderful lights behind darks. Well, I've just been resting on this hammock, and Dot wants to work this evening. It's such a lovely evening, and we've had that lovely fish pie. Of course, the other two are resting now, but Dot's decided to come in and have a go at a little composition of this, a pastel composition of this hammock. I just started her off with doing some of the darks just to get her going. So we've got the medium darks done, now she's working the medium greens in. And then she'll go on to the lighter greens gradually, some of the colours in the hammock, and then the darkers. And at the very end, pick out the very light highlights. So working out the mid-tones, now we're going in with some of the darker ones to pick out the mid-tones. The evening light is beautiful here. thing is, with something like this, the light changes so quickly. Even the light under the trees has gone now, so you've really got to work very, very fast. So 10 or 15 minute study is all you've got because the light goes. So this is a combined peat wood dot picture. Last minute of the evenings, just to capture the moment.
All the background's
That's all right.
same colour.
There's not enough sunlight though, it's gone flat again, hasn't it, for you? Dot, you'll be able to do yours.
Well, you see these food programs, they're bringing.
Was a very deep purple in there.
Well, we've had a fabulous
Here
week,
we are,
haven't we?
end of holiday, wonderful place, rural, tranquil, the whole of what we've seen at Limousin so far, and easy life.
Beautiful, beautiful place. Really enjoyed it.
We've
Learned a lot
Yeah.
about pastel painting.
Yeah. We've had 3 good nights out. We've had a reggae night. We've had we went to fireworks at the Bastille that day,
Yeah.
and we celebrated Jenny and Mike's 34th wedding anniversary, which was another meal out. We've done 2 paintings. One we did down by the river, which was absolutely beautiful.
Proved it last time.
It's been gorgeous weather. We've really had
Yeah.
fantastic
And
weather.
then we've all done a painting in the garden, because there's plenty of nice spots in here to
Shamed into it.
Yes. We've had lovely meals. We've slept well.
Bed's-
Some have slept
bed's
later than
comfortable.
others.
Yeah, I've slept in me.
We've really had a really, really good week, and it'll be sad to go home tomorrow.
Yes.
I should be sad to go home tomorrow. I could do stay another week.
Yeah, I think we all could. All
We've
in
had
all,
a few spots of rain, but
Yeah.
nothing really.
all in all, an absolutely excellent week.